Welcome everyone back to the North American LCS. We are ready to head into Game 3 of TSM versus Team Envy. I think many wouldn't have thought there'd be a Game 3. TSM had a good, solid scaling win in Game 1, and Envy an incredible nail-biter. Huge plays out of Nisqy to win Game 2.
Yeah, that was actually incredibly fun to watch because even though Envy were able to use this early game to get their lead, the history of this team throughout this year has been, they have gotten a lot of good early game leads, but up until even a month ago, basically, they had trouble converting those towards the late game. This one was just absolutely huge performances. LirA, Nisqy, these guys really stepping up for the team, and a big win over what a lot of people consider to be the best team in the North American LCS.
Sure, and right now, I mean, Team Envy, you talked about not converting leads very well. I believe last I looked statistically, they are #2 in gold leads at 20 minutes, and yet they're 6th place in actually winning matches. So clearly there's a disconnect there, and the fact that big plays out of Nisqy helped make that happen is certainly a very big deal. Apollo just sitting down actually had highest damage of the game. You expect that to a certain degree. He's playing Kog'Maw, but
Kog'Maw's always the
like it's gonna be there certainly, but still I think it's certainly an important part of this all. Nisqy made the big play killing the back line, but still getting through the tanks obviously relevant as well. And this felt like a team-wide win though, right? Big flashes out of Seraph, forcing that flash out of Bjergsen that got that pick. Hakuho there to protect the front line. I mean, LirA managing to kite back and forth, getting all the early gang stuff. Like everyone had their part to play in that win. It was not like a 1v9. It was Envy playing better than TSM.
Couldn't agree more. Team Envy looking to do it in game number 3 as well. The decider here, will they actually be able to push up? Because this is definitely one of the big victories. You were talking about it earlier when we were coming into the series. If they're able to grab this one, and secure for sure their playoff spot, as well as even maybe you look to get a better matchup in the playoffs.
I mean, so you look at who they've got left to play in the season. Next week, Friday, 3 p.m., they've got Immortals. All right, that's another top 1 team. That's going to be difficult. And then afterwards, the very end of the week, they've got a battle up against another playoff team in Cloud9. So they're certainly, not only today, but in next week, playing off against their playoff competition. They're coming into this one match behind Team Dignitas. They may still be, depending on how that Dig Fox goes in the other stream. And either way, they know there's no bye. They know they can secure a playoff spot potentially. And then it's like, okay, well, can you keep beating teams like TSM and Cloud9 and Team Dignitas and Immortals and all these guys? And if they can stay on this form where they are clearly competitive with TSM and the entire team is playing well, then this is now a threatening team in the postseason. The question is, does this form stay in now that we're in the last 2 weeks of the split?
I'll have to see if it even stays in this game.
Sure.
Early game was the name last time around, even though we went, 54 minutes there?
Yeah.
Definitely a very tense one with the Elder Dragons and Barons being traded.
Yeah, we're at about 1 hour and 40 minutes of game time so far, just in this best of 3. I've seen BO5s end faster, such as Cloud9 was Complexity when they qualified for the LCS.
Wow, that is a throwback.
That, yeah, it was like an hour and 5 minutes of total game or something stupid. It was kind of insane, but that was how dominant they were back then. Either way, we are about TSM versus Envy. Thresh, Elise, LeBlanc, all banned by TSM. Maokai, Caitlyn, and Zach off from Envy's side, and we'll see if TSM goes for more late game security this time around. They continue to put high priority on this Gragas.
No surprise here. They have done this so many times, especially on blue side. First picking the Gragas. The flexibility definitely is there. Last time around, Seraph got an early lead over the Gragas, with that extra Elise pressure, and then kept it for pretty much the entire game.
Well, this is interesting. A Cho'Gath grab right now. Of course, we still have the chance of TSM going for their Gnar or their Shen, two of which we've seen as common counterpicks here, or if they go somewhere else. But also, of course, Apollo blind picking the Xayah pretty early on. Pretty interesting to see because she, I think, had been hovered but never picked so far in this series, and Apollo says this is our best chance to win Game 3.
Yeah, that one to me is the more surprising one. I'm so used to this meta right now that we have with the Kalista, then you enter with Tristana, or if the Kalista's off the board, then the Sivir, but the Xayah jumping up here, and Apollo, even right after the nerfs to Xayah, he was still one of the guys that was like, I love this champion, I still want to play this champion. And still putting a lot of time into her. So I'm really excited to see what their combination is going to be with the Xayah.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. This one, Tristana and the Syndra back in. So TSM could pick, so far, I think their entire same comp from game 1, if they can keep locking the rest of the picks here. We'll see what actually comes into be. Syndra versus Taliyah to remain that same mid lane matchup. And Nisqy certainly had looked good on that champion, but of course Bjergsen has as well.
Yeah, looked good on the Taliyah, looked better even on the Lucian. It's just been a good series for him, honestly.
Agreed. He's been pretty great. I think his overall scoreline is something like 14-2 and 12 or something across the series so far. He's been pretty great. There's the Gnar ban, the Rakan ban there as well. I agree. Rakan Xayah is an incredibly strong duo. I think you should always pick that one. If you've got one, you should get the other. Locked in. Hakuho going to have to find himself another support here. Might go for the Braum. Gnar and Shen off the table. So Hauntzer, I think Gragas, Cho, I don't know the matchup very well. I keep thinking things are Cho favored and they end up not being. But we'll see, of course.
We're still in the point, too. I think it depends a lot on the players. Like, we're not at the 100% figured out Cho'Gath matchups for all matchups right now.
Yep.
And the varying degrees of experience for both of them plays so much into it.
The Blitzcrank ban going to come through as well. We'll see if TSM goes for that same Lulu or Karma as before. I would expect the same style. Lulu to come in, who I think would make a lot of sense here, but we'll have to see, of course. Picks to come through. Does Envy take the priority on Rek'Sai that happened in the first game or not? And they're actually going to grab, it looks like, Karma here for Hakuho, even though I think TSM would happily go Lulu anyway.
Yeah, if they definitely want to go with one of the Ardent Sensor late game supports with the extra shields, which they have been doing, so it wouldn't be a big surprise. They still definitely can do that. Just because I'm curious and I like to look up solo queue stuff just for reference, like with very large sample sizes.
Right,
kind of helps out with matchup stuff. And the new Cho'Gath. Kled is also one of the options that has one of the more decent win rates into him, so
he's got percent health damage.
Not going to be an option this time around, though. Jarvan and Gragas, the top lane / jungle flexible buddies.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter which one takes which position.
Not so much.
You do, have to fight against a different damage type, so I kind of always like the added little edge in there that you're like, ooh, you're going to take some MR or armor, or you're just going to go safe and take both, which will probably be the case.
Wow, so actually prioritizing even more the laning phase here. Nami, not quite the same super carry supportive that the Lulu is, but I would say a better laner in the general sense. Biofrost bringing this one out to help out Doublelift in this bot lane, looking to battle this 2-on-2. It's going to be a fun one. Trist, Nami versus Xayah Karma, as Team Envy are putting together a very similar composition. The Rek'Sai, just like they had in Game 1, TSM's only real change is the fact that Jarvan joins the lineup instead of Shen, which may put Gragas in the top lane and Jarvan in the jungle.
Yeah, Svenskeren had a pretty rough time on the Rek'Sai last time around, so I think it's good for TSM to switch it up and go with the Jarvan and let LirA have his hand at it, because Sven looked like he was having a very rough time towards the late game team fights in finding a use. He was almost always using his ultimate just to buy a little time and
anyway though.
Tank, so
they went back to it anyway. They swapped at the last second. Well, at 20 seconds is the last second for pro play here, and it's going to be Jarvan top lane with Gragas into the jungle. So it's going to be armor seals for Seraph, or at least Quint, you'd have to hope. And Sven is back on the Gragas. We'll see how the ganks go. Certainly it's double CC against a slow champion. Could absolutely be done here. Coaches shake hands. And we'll see if, of course, they meet in the playoffs afterwards. But here we go, the final climactic game. Envy can guarantee a playoff position regardless of what Equifax does for the rest of the split and lock in that at least 6th place spot. They can still go up, of course. They are only one match behind Team Dignitas. TSM, of course, still on a chase for a bye in the postseason. Of course, they are only one match from behind Immortals. They can tie them in first place with a win here. We'll see if they can do it. The climactic Game 3 is afoot. We'll see who can take this one home.
Remember, this Nami pickup here is, kind of early by TSM. 7:15 is where the 2 extra seconds were taken off the cooldown of Aqua Prison.
Right.
But oftentimes we'll see that, right? Where there's a small buff, people start testing it in solo queue, and they're like, whoa, good. This champion's actually quite good. I remember I actually don't even need the buff, and I'll play it a patch early on competitive.
Yeah.
So Biofrost will try his hand.
Definitely happens. We'll see what comes through in this one. It's a very similar comp, though, on kind of both sides to Game 1 here.
Bjergsen's played Syndra all 3 games, but because he is using the SKT skin, the balls change colors. So at least there's that.
All right, there you go. I didn't know that.
Oh, you did it? We just watched 2 of the games. One was red, one was blue.
I didn't realize. I mostly just realized it's a blue glow around and it looks like blue elixir the entire game, and I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, you get a free blue elixir. That'd be broken.
That's
how FLICKR
wins the game.
Power.
Hey, he just gets free elixirs all game. It'd be harder to lose when that happens.
Comes with the skin now. You too can be FLICKR.
Yay!
Blue elixir.
We're selling power. That's fun. Definitely not a design penalty.
Don't worry, that will never happen.
I know.
Put a stop to that.
I remember casting League of Legends back in Season 1 or 2 when I tried to consider non-League players part of it, and I'd always be like, "Oh, this team's got more skins. How cool!" By the way, caveat: skins do not equate to power. Please don't think we do this. And then I eventually stopped doing that because it was stupid.
That's good. I like it when you stop doing stupid things.
Yeah. There's a lot more to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll still be employed when I learn them all. Either way.
Ooh, what a pull.
Yeah, very heavy leash for LirA. And actually looks like Nisqy might have stolen one. I'm not sure if he got it from the lane or from the minions, but he does have one CS already, so that might have hurt LirA a bit.
So Raptor dominance for Team Envy here as the bottom lane steals away a ton of the small camp here from Svenskeren. Meanwhile, LirA got that super strong pull from the solo laners. So we'll see about that, how it really does affect Svenskeren. As soon as he goes to climb, half of those small ones gone. It's not too big a deal since he didn't even start over there anyway. Yep.
And we are into this matchup now as Bjergsen getting pushed in early on. Gets that minion into the turret. Beautiful play right there.
Not gonna get that.
Oh, is he though?
Oh, good old Syndra with the yoink.
Yeah, she cheats at everything. She presses R, one-shot the champion, gets to take CS at her turret, which doesn't deserve it. It's all just...
we put a stop to the myth last game where you just buy a Hex Drinker and Nisqy was not killed, even from 50% health.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, well, you know what? Buying Hex Drinker requires being smart, and as we have established, I'm not that. So Hauntzer and Seraph doing battle on the top side. Seraph with perfect CS, beautiful. Hauntzer's only missed one so far, can't complain too much. And yeah, very small landing phase leads. Nice by Nisqy, lands all 5 of them. He's got his minions backing him up as well.
Can he get all of them this time? Oh, we don't get to find out. Maybe next time on Mid Lane CS game.
Yeah, let's see what he can do on this side, though. Right now, it's a pretty equal trade of bot lane farm. Eventually, Biofrost will have more gold, but again, Hakuho itemizing for a bit more lane dominance if he can get it with his spell thieves.
Yeah, definitely finding some good harassment with his Qs already. First, we have
Gragas.
junglers to enter the scene, though. Both of them, not just Gragas. He's got a partner. I don't think they saw.
Rocket jump in. They want damage into Apollo. He's going to flash away a little bit more time. They're going to get all the damage they need. First Blood comes in on a Doublelift. Knocked around and killed off, and here comes the TP as well. They want Sven. They're going to get him. He's got no flash. 2 kills coming in. Apollo grabbing double buffs.
So remember last game when we talked about LirA, you know, and him using those little bits of early information and changing his path accordingly? What a superb counter gank from LirA here.
I hear he's good at League of Legends.
Yeah, definitely showing up here on the Rek'Sai, and Doublelift and TSM did not expect him to be ready and waiting in the lane. Huge turnaround there for Team Envy. Not only is it first blood, but both kills and the extra summoner advantage. Anyways, here it is. They have LirA waiting. He bides his time until Doublelift goes forward. Didn't even have time to use his own flash. And then LirA uses his flash to secure the extra kill and double puff. Feet over to Apollo. Just, whew.
And it was perfect out of Apollo. He flashed the body slam flash and then got the blade collar to actually root up Doublelift. I'm almost certain. So, I mean, it couldn't have been better from almost everyone on Envy there. Really well played in the 2-on-2.
Yeah, they're really starting out strong after, you know, ending last game in that very long, kind of high intensity neutral objective trades and long skirmish. Here we go, though, top side. Seraph.
He's in a bad spot. He's going to go for minions right now. Rupture's going to land, but he's really got no way out. He's going to flash anyway, and of course, he's going to get away. Sven didn't have flash. He gets away with it. All right, Seraph, well done, buddy.
He's got no way out. Oh, wait, he's already out.
Yeah, more things I'm wrong about. As, yeah, Seraph just lives to fight another day. He's still
TP-less. The invade here, though.
Yeah, he wants to fight Sven. And all right, he plays that one well, and he's going to walk back to his lane when he can. He's still potentially zoned out by the Jarvan. He's going to TP back to lane, and we'll lose some dominance as a result.
Speaking of dominance, double buff Xayah with the Karma here, zoning off. He gets the minion, but takes about 200 damage.
Yep. Q, auto E, and it forces Rocket Jump out of Doublelift where he would have been rooted. Red buff still means damage, though, but now the doubles have timed out. The end result is, of course, this Coldfield's Warhammer being done and the 9 CS lead, so we'll see if it pays off any further. The fact that Apollo's up items should mean it could even pay off more. They're going to look for round 2. Double just barely got his Rocket Jump back up, and it could be a root coming through if he's got the cooldown. Going to get some damage on Biofrost. Takes a turret shot, undoes some of it, but still some attacks on Doublelift there.
All right, Svenskeren actually is pathing down to the bottom side again on Gragas. There's plenty of wards here for Team Envy, though, so they should feel pretty comfortable in continuing to pressure this duo matchup. And LirA, once again, mirroring. He's going for the Scuttle Crab. Whew, look at that harassment there.
Yeah, really nice stuff out of that one. You can see they're pushing TSM to their limits, hoping to get rid of these minions. And this should be, now this one could be denied unless they set it up, and beautifully done. Well played to Biofrost and Doublelift getting those casters. The CS lead only 5.
Level 6 already here for LirA, so they want to take advantage, but he walked over a ward, and TSM are waiting. Svenskeren is in the brush, waiting for him to blast cone over. Doesn't do it yet. Nisqy could ult down.
He's going to cue the brush to look. He's not. Is he going to? He's going to ward. He can't ward for Seraph. There's actually only 1 TP for TSM. Here comes Nisqy, though, looking for a 4v4. Damage to Biofrost. Root is in. Kill's going to come through to Apollo. Going to kite back. He's got to watch out for Bjergsen. But he dropped the turret aggro, and no one's going to land that wall. Oh, Nisqy to make sure they were saved. An eloquent dive out of Team Envy, and another kill comes in.
Wow. Even though they ran into a little bit of a speed bump there with Svenskeren in the brush, Nisqy just walks on by. They finish off their kill. And they actually even get Hakuho out afterwards. Nisqy with a very nice wall there to close off any sort of chase from TSM.
Yeah.
No kills given over.
And I think the Hauntzer never could have TP'd because he's in range of Cho'Gath the whole time.
Yeah. All right, so Nisqy walks into Svenskeren, gets stopped up here, but flashes out and then uses the wall to cancel any sort of chase.
Even denies CS from Doublelift. What can't he do? Jeez, just insane stuff. So now BF sorted for Apollo. I feel like the Xayah has more items right now. Some of that is, of course, Double hasn't recalled yet, so we'll match closely, but that's actually pretty good stuff.
As well.
Yeah, that was his first recall.
Did he start that? Okay,
no, he was
recall.
Yeah. He got forced out pretty early. And here we go. Quick rub up and grab by TSM. He's able to match BF sword, but it's still that same Warhammer to Cole, which is obviously Envy's favorite in this squad. 1,700 gold lead, gonna feel good for them. We'll see if they can keep paying this forward. Top lane, a small lead to Hauntzer. Props to him for some good play. Of course, Sven gave him a gank, which helps. Still nicely done by the TSM top.
Yeah, as Cho'Gath, since you don't have any of your own mobility spells, after your flash is blown by a gank, gotta play a bit more careful as well.
TSM. Yeah, they're gonna look for the top side, but I think Envy's gonna be a bit faster to play. The question is, how good is the race gonna be? BF sort up on both means the damage output's not that different. Tristana's quick at killing turrets, but Envy have a head start. Yeah, and Cho'Gath, there's a possibility he could, long-range rupture maybe to delay a little bit, but he really has to get out of there. Svenskeren goes in, and so you have to worry about those dives. Don't even want to get in range. Hakuho steals some of the local gold. They actually had plenty of time. He could have walked away, but he decides he wants the money for himself. He'll rush that Ardent Sensor or whatever else is going to be. Doublelift will get local gold for himself on this Tristana. Shouldn't be too bad. That's the answer, though. Even though you are probably not going to win that race, want to get out of the lane. You were talking about the inventories and how scary it was getting with Apollo on Xayah here. Look at the one who's got 2 of those kill credits. They get Blade Caller. That's a nice route. Do they want to ult from LirA? Not quite going to go for the dive, but it was maybe a threat. But bot lane tier 2 could fall. It's about 3 attacks away. There's just so much threat that they can't go for it just yet. But imagine if Seraph ever gets a lead down here. That turret's falling. Yeah, that is a ridiculous amount of pressure. They annihilated that turret very quickly. Calling all TSM members down. Bjergsen even had to rotate from mid lane. Don't think he'll miss too much. Yeah, pretty much perfection on a Doublelift. Or sorry, Bjergsen right here. Shouldn't be any issues. Yep, the entire wave goes down to him. And Bjergsen sits on a nice, solid 14 minion lead in the mid game, in the mid lane even. 10 minutes in. That's with Nisqy roaming down once, but Bjergsen is definitely out laning here, as he did in the first game. Certainly a stellar player in his own right, but there's more to the game than just laning, and TSM still have their work cut out for them to come back in this one. Let's see what the next step here is going to be, because there's so much vision from Envy as well around the bottom side where they just took the turret. And you talk about getting back into this game, they want to find space for Doublelift to actually farm. So TSM actually, their duo lane pushed up pretty far to get that minion wave all the way to the turret. They don't want to get starved out much more. Right now, though, Envy starting up the Drake on that bottom side. As I said, they have so much vision to work with. Turn on the Foggle. Well, right now, they've seen Doublelift and Biofrost for the last minute, just walking that circle around the bottom side. They feel very secure peeling away the Cloud Drake here. And if Nisqy is ever able to roam down a bot lane, that tier 2 is going to fall. Tier 2 turrets, I'm almost certain, do not have health regen on them, so it's going to stay at that 112 health mark or whatever. 279, I was kind of close, but that does not take very much to knock down. So if Nisqy ever gets free time, nice body slam into the ulti, nice knockback. Nisqy does not have flash available. Ulti in for Bjergsen. Barrier's there if he wants it. He's not going to pop it just yet. Just going to go down to this last little bit of damage. Sven getting the kill credit, forcing Hauntzer away. And the top side is Seraph. Looks safe.
Labs here from Team Envy, but I think they have escaped no problem. Yes, Bjergsen did have to use the cleanse and his ultimate, but that is about it. Nice gold for him. And it looks like, actually Svenskeren's the one who got the credit this time around.
Yeah.
Not the ideal spot for your money to go to.
Still not the end of the world to get the kill, of course. It's still great. Nisqy pushed down, and it means now it's a 20 minion difference. Could get worse from here. Doublelift now going to be attacked, though. Cloud Drake means the fast roams, and Hakuho wants in. Oh, he went to the right-hand side. They found him. And he's burned Flash, he's burned Rocket, he's burned ulti. There's no way out except for the fact that his team is coming. So Hakuho can't win the 1v1. Now they go.
The way out is back towards space.
Yep. He bravely runs away.
Good combo there from Svenskeren.
Yep.
He knew, I believe he knew, they were tracking the cooldown of that Flash. So that's where you see him have the freedom to go for the auto attack afterwards. There's no big rush to get his ultimate out. And nice little combo there.
Good damage out of Nisqy. Certainly can look pretty scary. Again, he's went for that same build as game one. The Merc treads into the eventual Banshee's Veil, but Bjergsen off to a healthy lead right now. Morella and Nami already done. A staff in the Dark Seal as well. LirA now playing for this bot side of the game. Looking again to get that bot lane tier 2 if they get the chance. Doublelift and Biofrost out. Pretty safe in their defense of it.
Yeah, TSM just want Doublelift and Biofrost to be on farm duty right now. They're like, Doublelift, we'll see you in 10 minutes. You know, pop your cull, farm up some items. Let Bjergsen really be the center of most of the TSM plays here in the mid game. They don't want him to be any sort of big plays at the moment, just maybe little skirmishes around mid or top, and just allow Doublelift a little bit of time to catch up.
All right, well, he's going to keep going for this farm right here. He'll get a little bit of alone time, but yeah, an Essence Reaver, Berserker's Greaves, Xayah is about to come back into lane, and that's going to make things a little bit more difficult for
Taliyah as well.
All right, here comes the attempt at TP as well from Seraph. Hauntzer could match if he wants to, and here comes the play for bot lane. Doublelift's going to rocket jump over towards Apollo. Definitely going to go down. Blade Caller in. Then Hakuho Scumbag steals away the kill. But on the bot side, another kill comes through thanks to Seraph. Battle for the red buff goes over to Svenskeren, but it means that Envy will have free time to knock down bot lane tier 2. No questions asked. And there's no top outer to kill anymore, so really nothing lost on the other side of this.
Yeah, I mean, that is a bottom lane that's half a map out, you know, with no defenses. We talked about how many wards Envy left behind in the red quadrant. There are a lot for Seraph to choose from. Pretty good collapse there from Team Envy to get some more kills off of this really heavily struggling bottom lane. And Doublelift has a long ways to go before he can farm up back into it.
Yeah, TSM with 4,000 gold to go. It's
Ben
been a while.
now
Nice knock up. Right from LirA. They're battling. There's really 2-on-2. Bodysam's in the knockup as well. Seraph wants to flash away. No feast, no flash anymore. And he's got to buy some time. Bjergsen there in the mix, but here comes Nisqy as well. Look at a trade blows back and forth. Ulti coming across. Barry just barely keeps him alive. He barely lives. And it's going to be LirA walking back away now. And out they go. No kills quite picked up, but a lot of summoners down. Envy losing a fair bit, but they get the red buff at least.
Trying to decide if I allow that one. I don't think you should repeat it. It was okay.
Yeah. But it'll be cleaner next time. I'll repeat it when it's not with you.
Attempt number 2 always goes smoother, right?
Yeah. That was a rehearsal.
All right. Let's take a look. Oh, God. We don't need to take a look at this again. Teleport in. Go roam down from the mid lane. As we said, Doublelift was just trying to get some money for himself. Biofrost was there helping out. And Envy, really good job of continuing to snowball off their huge point of power in the bottom lane. And it continues to be a source of gold for them as they increase this lead.
Yep.
You know, 3,000.
I find it really weird that Jurassic Cho'Gath actually grows when he eats champions, because there's no like stomach or anything to like actually digest. It should just fall out, right? You eat it and it just goes out the rib cage. Somehow it just makes his bones bigger. You can't explain that. I don't understand. It's weird, but Seraph's making it happen here. He's got Rights to Glory. He's ready to engage next time he finds someone. Svenskeren wants to fight for the top side. Envy sitting on this 3 and change thousand gold lead plus the Ocean Drake. Infernal up in a minute. You know Envy wants that. We'll see if they can keep their members on the correct side of the map to do so. Right now, LirA's on cleanup duty in the top side of the map as they keep Cho'Gath down to the bot lane. Nisqy and Apollo, I mean, because they want to have TP up for the Drake spawn, they kind of can't play for top lane easily. Unless they time it right.
I was wondering what Doublelift was doing with that red tail. It's like, he's not going to be able to solo it. Nobody's really coming to help him, so Just a little target practice.
He's upping his damage per minute stats. I mean, I know we all look at damage for champions, but you know there is a just damage dealt. So maybe he just wants that one to look better. I don't know. Practicing is
Keep at it there, Detective Freak.
You know, sometimes it's worth it if you're like healing with Warlord's Bloodlust, but that wasn't what happened.
Started at full life and left a little lower.
Regardless,
Team Envy are going to roam down to mid lane down. They actually don't stay up and take that top turret. I thought they were going to stick around and just push down that outer turret on top side, but they roam the rest of the team back here to mid, so maybe they want to actually force on this Infernal.
All right, can they make it happen? The wall's going to try to cut them off. Not going to be beautiful at that. Seraph on somebody's cut off. And LirA's actually he's going to find the one on the Hauntzer. He's got Flash, he's got the Flag and Dragon, he gets away. But all 5 alive on Hauntzer now at 2/3 HP. A little bit of a chunk on a Bjergsen as well. Feast still up for Seraph. That should be a pretty easy to secure Infernal Drake. Mid lane priority though goes to Double, he knocked him away first.
If he does it on the Infernal, he won't have it for the team fight though, and it is, you know, a decent part of team fight damage. We'll see.
Is he gonna feast? And he is. 800 health left. No chance for Sven to smite. Timed well by Team Envy. They grab it. They gotta fight for mid now.
And you could see that there was no way TSM were gonna do the fight afterwards, so he was free to use his feast because Doublelift was in mid lane hitting this turret.
And he's gonna keep hitting it as well as they've zoned out the team, and it will be the best possible scenario for TSM, trading mid lane tier 1 for that Infernal Drake. I gotta say, the best TSM could have gotten. Well played.
Yeah, Envy able to get their Infernal Drake for later, but TSM gets something back for themselves. A little bit more gold there to fuel the end game goal. Doublelift Infinity Edge is done now. So it doesn't really feel that great till you get some, you know, Static Shiv or whatever your Zeal item of choice is, but it's definitely something there. And you can get extra lucky with 2 crits in a row or something.
Sure.
Surprise somebody.
Although there's actually less than a 4% chance to do so. There's like scaling critical chances based on how lucky you've been. So within a given fight, if you're hitting champions, the numbers actually change behind the scenes. You can still get lucky and unlucky, but it's just less likely overall. Shout out Ziffers who built the system. I don't know the specifics exactly, but it works that way. Let's see what can come in next to this as Envy look to reset on the map. They know they've been equalizing turret score now. Envy need top lane and mid lane outers, and TSM can only look for the bot lane outer. 2,500 gold lead still puts Envy in a good spot, plus that double Drake.
Yeah. The other thing about that too, as far as which ones TSM are actually looking for, is more of a reactive situation, right? Whenever you're kind of behind like this, you are super happy to take the trades, but you also kind of have to let Envy make the choice, and you're like, okay, you choose, top side or whatever. Now we will go get bottom or whatever. You kind of have to wait on them. Exactly.
Because if you pick the same side of the map, you lose the team fight. And here we go. It's TSM who say, yeah, you went top and mid. Cool, we'll go for the bot lane right now. Envy gonna grab Rift Herald, and Nisqy should grab top lane outer. So again, it's a minor 2-for-1 on objectives. We'll see what the Rift Herald actually turns into later on to this one. They grabbed it with 15 seconds to spare. We saw one despawn early in the LCS this week, and here comes the play, though. TSM wants tier 2. But they kill off Seraph, though. He's going to look for the play on this one. Cataclysm is in. A lot of burst damage available. Can he chop down Hauntzer? He's going to try. This could be a trade kill. Not quite. He barely stays alive. Health bars, of course, are low. Could there be a re-engage?
Yeah, can he get out? LirA's coming through the jungle. TSM need to escape right now. Not going to actually close the gap here with Seraph down 25 more seconds. TSM get out with it. Wow, what a play right there.
Positive trade, absolutely. Yeah, extra kill, extra turret picked off. Envy gonna answer mid lane outer only.
Yeah, this one probably is gonna go down here with the Rift Herald. Bjergsen's in the area, but the charge takes out almost all the rest of it. And Envy are able to at least even up those turrets. But again, they use time taking that Rift Herald, so.
Yeah. End of the day, it's better turrets killed by TSM anyway. They got a tier 2.
So they go for this dive. They have vision of 3 of the other members of Envy, so they're fairly sure there's no backup here. Even so, Seraph almost answers his kill back. Yeah. Doublelift had to use his heal to save Hauntzer. And TSM very narrowly get out the extra kill and a turret that they did not immediately assume they were going to be able to get.
Yeah. But it was solid, all said and done. So the game now only within 2,000 gold. TSM clawing back pretty well. This was definitely in a worse spot earlier. We'll see if they can keep this one, the forward momentum going for them. Second major items almost done for both the marksmen. You're seeing Doublelift just the combined to go for his Shiv. And Rapid Fire already done for Apollo here. Looking at maybe a play on Nisqy, but he's kind of aware of how unsafe he is, so no 1v3 to be had. And Doublelift back into attack these minions down.
It is a little bit curious how, you know, Envy had such dominance over Summoner's Rift for, you know, the last 5 to 10 minutes or whatever, but their vision is kind of lacking for a team that had that much control for that long of a period. A lot of those wards have timed out, and since they've been trading turrets, they haven't really got a chance to replace a lot of them. So even that defensive vision wasn't quite there, and unable to catch the movements of TSM. Now they catch Svenskeren, but he's on Gragas. Can navigate quite easily around the enemy team.
It's interesting what you mentioned before, though, about the fact that they were on the map for so long, because every 2.5 minutes, your wards all are gone. And if you've been trading with Nexus for a while, you've got to reset the entire vision game there. Looking at maybe the mid lane here, Biofrost with the rest of the team. Apollo forced to run away.
It's one of the reasons, one of the other reasons that teams that are behind often want to go for these extended objective trades. Hauntzer, though, wants to trade nothing back for Seraph this time around. Bjergsen's coming down. He just wants to slow him around for the Syndra.
And now there's no minions around to deal damage to Hauntzer, so now he's locked into the combat 1v2. Ulti coming across, plenty of damage there, and there's just no way out. Nice kill picked up. Bjergsen getting the credit. And no re-engage to be had for Envy, so TSM continue to be faster on these plays.
Yeah, 2 more, you know, recent kills for TSM than they actually thought they were going to be able to get, but that is some useful gold for them. This one, was that Bjergsen's? Yeah, so they did actually finally get kill credit onto Bjergsen. And 2 more stacks for his little ring there.
6 AP more. It's getting huge. Second item done as well. Luden's Echo for Bjergsen. It's very interesting because we've definitely seen, I think, different builds come out of Syndra. Some would go for a Void Staff earlier on or something else, and he's got a bit more burst into this, a bit more roaming power as well.
Yeah.
He's done, and now moving on towards the Haunted guys plus more CDR for Nisqy.
I'm a pretty big fan of the 3rd item, Void Staff. You know, times up with a lot of the magic item, you know, completions for the enemy team. Maybe he'll go for it. Right now, though, Mountain Drake is alive. See if Envy are actually going to make their stand here. They do have a bit of positioning. They also have the vision of the Scuttle Crab, so they're well aware that this is about to be a site for a little bit of a fight.
Let's see what happens. Half of Envy's gold lead has not been spent by Apollo right now. Now for the play onto the Drake. They're looking for Hauntzer, who does burn the flash to get out, and Sven actually is going to body slam out as well. Chop's going to come in. There's a clean enough pickup there. Another feast for Seraph means they secured Mountain Drake, but again, TSM first go back to the mid lane.
Yeah, and that one, it kind of reminds me of, was it the first game where TSM were able to sneak the Drake? In a similar situation. It kind of felt like they were just trying to do that again. They weren't ever really intending to, you know, take that 5-on-5 or to, you know, try and smite fight it. They were more looking to try and burn it down and get it out of there beforehand. But Envy, you can see them correcting even within just this series for some mistakes that they made earlier on in the series. Yeah, they shored up here. They're not going to let it happen again, and they secure this Mountain Drake.
Oh, they found the dunk, though. It is Apollo in a dangerous position. Has to flash away from the body slam. Gets away with it, but that's 2 flashes down for just the Cataclysm of Hauntzer. So well played in the TSM top laner. 1,800 gold apart, and TSM looking to play for Baron control.
Holds on to the ultimate for himself, so maybe he'll use it here as TSM are starting the Baron. Big wave on top side. They want to have 2 points of pressure. The wave is going to hit the turret while they do this, but they immediately
they got Apollo, and he completely gives it away, and that's going to be a 5v4 now for the chase of TSM. Can they find a bit more to this one? He definitely got caught out beautiful by Svenskeren, lands the body slam flash. Ults afterwards, that's all they needed now. 5v4 to push 25 minutes in.
Apollo gets caught before, doesn't use his ultimate, he flashes out. Okay, so you hold on to the ult, but this time around, Svenskeren just completely blindsides him and doesn't even give him a chance to ultimate. Huge pickup there as they turn it into a turret immediately afterwards.
Absolutely huge. Now it's only a 700 gold difference, though, so TSM making it right back in, and Doublelift very nearly getting online here. 1,400 gold in inventory, needs a new Zeal coming in soon.
Yeah, I kind of want to see this one even from Apollo's perspective, because he walks right up to that pixel brush. I don't know what he was expecting there.
Should not have been first, that's for sure.
Yeah, TSM happy to take it, though. That kill plus the turret goes a long way here. Double F static shiv is done. Second Zeal item is done, or second Zeal at least is done.
And yeah, you've got Redemption in for Biofrost, his second Forbidden Idol, sorry. Forbidden Idol, which will build towards, we assume, the Ardent Sensor. That you never know, there's other items he could buy. But yeah, the shield and heal power is definitely in for Biofrost. The team fight heal is in. And I think it actually makes a lot of sense considering how much AoE is in for Envy. They can keep the entire team afloat. Got the Titanic Hydra done for Hauntzer, so he can really just battle against this
Was
Cho'Gath
that
a bit
an attempt at a Nami association there, or did you just accidentally talk about floating with the fish chin?
We're just going to move on and pretend nothing happened.
All right.
Svenskeren going to now start running away. A nice seismic shove, though. They might take him down. He's silenced. He can't get away just yet. The wall is there. The knockup as well from LirA. Putting his flash to make sure it happened, and the kill comes through. So 5v4, no jungler alive, and Feast still available.
All right, Nisqy once again here. Taliyah ultimate comes in. Pretty big pickup onto the jungler. Definitely gives them some more pressure around Baron. And again, since they also have these control wards around Baron, it makes TSM stick around this area and kind of throw out some jabs here to poke around and make sure that Envy aren't sneaking anything. Question mark pings are actually going down. They're super scared about this.
Yeah, on Svenskeren's corpse, he died. Kidding. Knock up on a 2, though. That's pretty huge. The silence there as well. And Bjergsen, Featherstorm coming across. They're only going to root the tank, though. A nice wave to buy some time. LirA once again in the front looking for Doublelift, but he's going to kite back into Redemption. Going to put the health bars underneath his spot. Seismic shove finds Hauntzer. He's still got flash. He's going to get away with it for this one. And now LirA's the front line alone. He's going to be attacked, knocked up. He's got to watch out. The bubble not quite going to land, though. Looking for an ulti to buy a few more seconds, but be careful. The dunk is in. The kill's going to come through as well. Hauntzer gets the credit. They're going to trade it with the Feast, but Seraph is low on health. One more hit, he'll kill him, and they're going to get the trade kill in. 2 for 1. TSM win the 4v5.
How did they actually come out with the victory there with that face check? Envy a little bit funneled into the corner right there, and Doublelift constantly walking back and forth there. Gets off a lot of DPS. He chased off Nisqy, who was flanking and who initially got the knockback, but the seismic shove was on Hauntzer, the tankiest member, and Hauntzer was able to buy himself some more time. So remember when they start this, dead Svenskeren, 13 more seconds, and he has to walk from base. Hauntzer, first escape was right there, flag and drag out. There's that redemption he talked about from Biofrost being picked up early, and that was the flank that knocked Hauntzer back in, but the DPS, you see Apollo and Hakuho kind of stuck back there, and Nisqy had to give Doublelift some space because there was a red buff Tristana. So some good little micro there by the TSM backline to actually ward off the threats, while then turning around to get shots in onto the tanks as well.
Yeah, Bjergsen basically solo zoned Apollo there. He had the ult up until the very end saying, if you go for this, I will attack you and kill you. And there's no Hex Drinker on that Xayah, so yeah, completely forced out. Well played by TSM, navigating the fight nicely. All of them pitching in for some very, very smart plays. And now look at this, only 900 gold apart. Mountain Drake again up in 1 minute. The non-combat Drake, though, unless Envy's actually going for turret damage or Baron rushes, it doesn't mean much for them. We'll see. Again, they're still up that Infernal Drake, though. They should have the damage output. We'll see what happens. Full builds, or full crit builds are done now for both the marksmen here, as Rapid Fire and Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge now done on all sides.
Interesting. TSM are going to send 4 to go help Hauntzer with his split, rather than trying to use the split and the 40-second timer on the Drake to draw Envy over. Instead,
powerful now.
Just burn it down here. They have Tristana.
There's the 4 attacks, and there's going to be a little bit of damage to this turret. Down pretty low. Wall's going to knock off a few, though. This is a 3 and 2 split. They're all going to get over the wall. Every single one of them has a way of jumping it. Let's see what can happen next on this one. A few cooldowns are down for TSM, but they kite away nicely. No really big poke out of Nisqy. Not going out yet in this fight for anything much. Gonna get a little bit of poke down. Seraph gonna come back after knocking down the minion wave. Nisqy back in the mid, though. This Drake is up in 6 seconds, and Envy wants in first. One spots him. Seismic shove not quite gonna land.
They also now do not have that Taliyah wall. You're talking about cooldowns, and all the jumps are basic abilities. TSM,
they're back.
Had a little bit of time where they're scared maybe if there was a hard engage right after jumping the wall, but now that the wall is not up for this Drake, they just send Doublelift down there. He's soloing it on Tristana with the little bit of life still he has. He can do it pretty easily.
And Envy's trying to rush here. They know mid lane got pushed in already, and right now Double still's taking this Drake down. He takes it out, and they know that Double is not part of the fight because of the global announcement. Early smite, here comes the Feast. They're gonna grab it. Now Baron in a 5v4. And Double's in there in about 10 seconds, though. TSM must wait for this timer, but now the re-engage would come in. Sven's got no ult, but he's got body slam. He's got some damage on the Seraph. A big shield comes in. A nice knock up there for Hauntzer as well. Now how good's the fight gonna be on the front line? Seraph staying alive for now, but still taking attacks. Being attacked down, and Hauntzer getting the kill with the Cataclysm, a 1 for 0. And a Mountain Drake picked up for TSM, but they're up on 4 for Envy.
Still, yeah, a very good reaction there by Team Envy. TSM did that before with Doublelift soloing the Dragon, and this time they immediately are like, okay, we're definitely trading you Baron for this. And yes, TSM did get a kill there, but Envy are very happy to have Baron buff on 4 members in exchange.
But the push going to keep going, so now it's +1 kill, +1 Drake, and this turret to answer out this, and it gets the game again within 1,000.
This is a Baron empowered push up mid lane there for Envy though. LirA, if he finishes off these Raptors and joins up
This
with
should
Apollo,
die.
they should also get the turret.
Yeah, this should die. They actually know the recall timers of TSM, and they're a little
going
gunshot.
for red buff instead of the turret.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe.
tough call.
Maybe it'll mean something, but
Yeah. I mean, it's a 100 gold swing either way. You get 100 gold from them, and you get a red buff for the next fight. And considering they do want to battle with this Baron buff, maybe it really will mean enough if they think they get the turret later on. Yeah, I think it's debatable. We'll see if it comes out to be the positive.
well, especially since Envy's red is also up. I mean, yeah, they'll have 2 now, but
Yeah, you're right. I am curious to see what's going to happen out of this one as the recalls come through. Last Whisper in for Apollo, not yet that gold for Doublelift.
they could also just be saying,
There you
well, mid is so low anyway, that's going to be our Baron buff push, and we don't think TSM is actually going to fight us on that one, and they'll be able to collect it later. So
Yeah, I think it's possible.
that's probably the thought process there. Interesting as well. I don't know if you guys, people saw all of the interviews and videos that were coming out from Envy, but Apollo talked a lot about how LirA, not only is he great mechanical jungler, is he great individually, but he's been helping out a lot, teaching the other players about his views on macro and the late game play. So
I want to put out something small. Seraph actually just did a useless feast on a lane minion. He was actually already at 11 stacks because he had taken 1 regular monster and 5 minions. And when he read the tooltip, he's like, oh, 5 minions. So he ate a 6th minion. But a minion and a monster, if it's not like a Drake, are the same. So it's on cooldown for a misread tooltip, I guess.
yeah,
which
it has to
won't
be,
get paid out.
It has to be an epic monster,
Right.
Or a champion or something.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah. And Seraph's feasts are basically 2 champions, 1 epic, meaning Baron, and 2 Drakes. And the other, 6 basic stacks he's already gotten. So math supports it. But it's going to be back up for cooldown, so it doesn't mean anything. He's fine. The mistake doesn't hurt him. Here comes the next chance at a team fight. 45 seconds on Baron buff, meaning they get 2 waves, basically. This one and whatever one spawns after. And mid lane is clean without nothing happening.
All right, I want to start this one because we haven't actually seen too many of the really big Cho'Gath one-shots, but it is a Warmog's Righteous Glory and Gargoyle Stoneplate Seraph. So you talk about the feast and that cooldown, how important it is. It is incredibly important now that this feast is actually going to be insane if he pops his Gargoyle Stoneplate first and flashes on Doublelift. He's got to worry, from like 80% health or something.
It's 965 before the stone plate, so you were right, mid lane's gonna fall, no problem. But really, it's only the 1 turret so far picked up by Envy. In this push, they knock down mid lane. They sit their gold lead back at 2,500. And looks like they're gonna let this one time out, and they're gonna keep playing for the slower game here. They're sitting on the Infernal and Ocean Drake buff. They got more than TSM. They're getting a lot of split push farm right now, looking like he wants to keep scaling up and be a tank. Envy tunnels right back away. He's gonna be fine. Sven gonna look for a play. He's got that Dead Man's play. We don't see that item nearly as much anymore. There's been a lot of, upgraded and strong tank items, so a lot more sort of differentiation, but Sven wants the in-combat mobility. Yeah, Baron power play, basically just the Baron itself, essentially, because both teams got a tier 2 turret.
Yep. Decent by TSM, actually. Taking that one off. The map actually has gotten quite dark for TSM once again, though. And remember how difficult it is when you're working with no vision against the Taliyah team, right? Not only you have to worry about those picks, but once someone does, it's very difficult to get back on the right side. Hauntzer, Svenskeren, Doublelift, they're all fine because they can hop it. But Bjergsen and Biofrost have to be a bit more careful with their positioning.
Let's see what they can find for themselves. 2,500 separates these teams. Lord Dominic's done for both the marksmen, though. The tank shredding is in. Nice little crit out of Doublelift. That's the benefit of a rapid-fire cannon and shiv. You crit everybody. A little lightning. They've traded back to the mid lane pretty easily. No minions now meeting just yet. They've decided their battle lines. No stun yet for Bjergsen, but the spheres are on the ground now. They're going to keep spamming, make the ulti stronger, make the stun wider.
Apollo got chumped pretty big there.
It's a big deal. And he's not got a lot of lifesteal either, so.
Rupture also down now. You see them move in, but Hauntzer had already made his way halfway over to top side, so there's no threat of engaging on that crit anyway. but TSM still poking around here. Now they're trying to just kind of delay. Oh!
The flash ult, they're gonna go for the kill. They don't quite get him. Yes, they do. Biofrost knocks the kill down at the very end of it all, and now the chase is in 5v4. Can they get the knockback out of Xayah? A little bit they do, and actually the chase is in with Rocket Jump. They're gonna get a 2-for-0. Now on the other side of the fight, it's a Cataclysm on a 2. The redemption to buy a bit of time, but Hauntzer gonna get chopped in. Will he go down? He will not. The heals are through. Just the 2-for-0. Make that a third as Seraph will fall. He gets the trade. 3-for-1, but now it's 2v4, and TSM have the tools they need.
And they should be able to take this Elder Dragon no problem. Trading 3-for-1 there is huge for them. Again, it seems just like Bjergsen in these late game positioning, scenarios here around the mid lane with the Syndra continually finds a play. And this play results in TSM scoring a very big opening.
And Bjergsen tends to find a way. Nicely done here. Watch that fight again.
40 seconds left on the Baron as well for live gameplay, but there it is. He lands the sun, and he immediately flashes over. There's the ebb and flow for Nami there. Biofrost was able to secure that one. And then there's the re-engage. Since they know they have this 5v4 advantage, basically, nice little re-engage here. Hauntzer is able to stay inside his own Cataclysm and barely tank up with the heals coming through from Bio. Re-engages into a feast of Seraph, so they end up trading there, but it's actually quite a good trade.
Gonna feel pretty good. So TSM have brought the game back to tied in gold. They're wearing this Elder Dragon buff, and they've got all the rights, I feel like, with this to play for Baron now themselves and see if they can make that push forward. No seismic shove yet for Nisqy. Full build's almost through. TSM have plenty of control wards in inventory. Double has no room for them anymore, but the rest of the squad doing the best they can to put those in. Let's see what can happen here. This is certainly a tight game once again. All these games look like they're making points.
Yeah, this series has been incredibly competitive. TSM have slipped in.
And this is going to go down. There's no contest anymore. They're not in range. TSM with a great play on this one. Going to grab themselves Baron Nashor. Again, with the Elder, it was likely, but they still made a very slick play to make it come through.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Without vision especially, Envy, there's no way you want to face check an Elder Dragon team.
No.
So, whether they're on it or not, got to give them their space, and Envy are just going to try and defend. Similar to TSM last game, honestly. Roles kind of reversed now. This, as you were saying before, though, this series has been, very competitive and a lot more than maybe expected coming in. But Team Envy looking quite good up until this point, though. Now, TSM have all the buffs.
Yes, they do.
They have a fully recovered Doublelift. Remember how bad the early game was for this bottom lane of TSM, by the way, but right now he's feeling great.
They're finding a Cho'Gath, looking to knock him down, sending him back to the Jurassic period. Going to stay alive for now. Ulti not quite going to get the kill, but it was close. The shield, like maybe a bit more time. You can barely notice it on that health bar, but he's going to stay alive, and that's an ulti down for Bjergsen. Seraph can heal up soon enough. He's got Warmogs plus a home guard pretty soon. But here comes top lane attack. Elder Dragon still on Baron buff in here, and we're going to knock this down very, very, very quickly. Seraph available, though, gonna go for the Rupture. Not quite gonna land much yet, but the wall gonna knock him off. Now, can there be a fight? Sven kiting back once again, the damage on the Seraph, but he is very tanky. He's okay withstanding this. Looking for LirA, nice knockup for Hauntzer. Wall falls down, will they get more? Not just yet, but a seismic shove finds Hauntzer down to 2,000 HP. Nisqy back in for the poke now towards Svenskeren. Doublelift back and forth, gets a nice chunk down. Apollo at half HP, and you can see this Xayah cannot get into the fights the same way Tristana can.
Yeah, he doesn't have the range. Tristana scales range with every level, plus rapid fire cannon. That's why you can get those very, very... Ooh, Hauntzer actually, they might go for him.
And we're gonna get the Rupture for a little bit. Cutting back, Baron buff still on for 2 minutes on the longest members here on this one. One of them has Runic Affinity. Mid lane turret gonna fall rapidly, down it goes. Explosive Charge takes it. TSM getting farther ahead in gold. They've not yet to spend it, but still the Baron means they can keep pushing this 5v5. Bjergsen will be back up available. The wave crew is still slow from Envy. A nice double stun. Hakuho's a bit low. He's got to kite back on this. And 2 more attacks to knock the turret down, and it falls. Doublelift and destroys the inhibitor. 2 inhibs down. TSM making great work of that Baron buff.
Yeah, what a recovery from the early game there, where Envy were just blowing the game open really early on. But TSM now still have plenty of time left on this Baron buff as well. There's a quarter left, and with 2 inhibitors down, just return to that bottom lane, try and push in for the end game. Doublelift now level 18 as well.
We're gonna range, or 700 range or so. I think 706, something like that.
669.
Oh, right, it got nerfed, so it's 17 less than I thought it was.
Let me wait for the rapid fire to charge up, though. 8-19 for the rapid fire auto.
In between the two of them. Something like that. Actually, either way, I was wrong. The numbers didn't add up in my head. It's okay. One more. I don't have to go for Bjergsen. Doublelift, of course, is full. The Bloodthirst already is going to be incredibly hard to kill off of these fights now. TSM look like they have what they need to play these 45-minute Tristana comps and beat Team Envy. This game, honestly, looking maybe like a more severe version of Game 1, but a similar trajectory all the same. I'm looking to knock this one down with a highly scaled 6-item Doublelift. And very important, Bjergsen picks no deaths in the Syndra. Certainly has had a very good series in this champion.
Consistently finding picks in these late game scenarios. Bjergsen is usually the one to start it off. Looking for a couple angles now.
Look at that damage on a Doublelift. You can just like work with the Bloodthirster shield, take some damage, not care too much, rock jump the wall. It's been a half HP, doesn't matter, he heals up so easily.
It's hard for Envy, right? Because they would have to get a really good rupture onto one of these high priority members, but Doublelift can jump. Bjergsen, all the summoners are available for all these guys. It makes it really difficult for Envy to actually start something here.
Yep. Meanwhile, Doublelift puts Nisqy at half with a single auto attack if he gets an 80% roll. And down goes the turret. Envy really far back now. 2 inhibs already gone, and they're down 5,000 gold for this fight. A nice stun. They're going to find a bit of time on the LirA. More poke attempted. Not going to find it just yet. But at some point, Envy needed to actually find themselves a fight. Top lane's pushing in right now. Mid lane, gigantic wave as well, and Envy just have not found the inroads. And now LirA knocked up, going to be stunned another time, and they're going to find for more burst damage. Not going to go for the ulti just yet. The heal not going to be much either, but they've knocked in Seraph. He's a big, tanky Cho'Gath, but the damage output is still there for Don't If He Wants It. Back and forth they go. Hauntzer still taking the front line. Sven looking for the same. Explosive cast not going to be found just yet, and now it's Seraph running away. Lower and lower on health. The Xayah has fallen. Apollo dies despite the summoners being down. Another kill coming through. All the turrets gone as well. And it's going to be TSM amidst chants from the crowd. Take it home 2-1. TSM will end the week tied for first place, looking for that playoff bye.
Woo, what a long series there. TSM, as you said, finding victory over a highly probable playoff contender there. Team Envy, they did lose the series, but they definitely made it look competitive, made TSM work for it. You can tell, a little bit exhausted there after that one.
Sure, it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so of League of Legends play in this one, and yeah, it meant quite a bit for both these squads. TSM have at least found a formula that works for them, but the question is, do they have more that works out? And there's lots to be answered, because have Envy improved substantially such that they are about as good as TSM, or did TSM have a kind of an off match where they had to rely on a 6-item Doublelift to beat a team that they have like 6 more wins in the standings than?
It certainly makes playoffs very, very intriguing here. Super exciting. If this is how close, a possible first versus 6 matchup could be, like, yeah, all of the playoff games are definitely going to be exciting as we move forward. We have more contenders than ever, and Tristana's going to be a big issue as we see the playoff meta developing.
That'll be fun to watch for as we move on. As how many comps do both these teams rely on as we get closer and closer down the line? You get into the best of 5s, you start having a lot more, the adaptation that matters of figuring out exactly what styles teams are most comfortable with. And again, it's simply a question. It was only one match. It was a single best of 3. TSM, I'm sure, do have more that they can do than just play around in Tristana, obviously. But in this series, they did rely on it. It did work out, though, so you can't hate them too much. But if this was a best of 5, you'd imagine you'd see Trist bans in Game 4. And you'd say, now, Doublelift, find something else that works.
And yeah, well, the Tristana was a constant here. So was Syndra. And Bjergsen, pick after pick after pick in these late games, scenarios with this long-range stun that she has. Is something that they also relied on.
Yeah, and he did so well for himself. I mean, 6-0-5 in the last game. That was 11 of 12 participation. No deaths. I mean, I feel like I'll call it now. Player of the game feels like it's Bjergsen, to be honest, based on what he did so far. Did the most damage in the game as well. I mean, I thought he was absolutely incredible overall for sure. But a fun one regardless. I mean, it means TSMs are in first place. I don't know if Echo Fox had won or lost against Team Dignitas. If Fox lost, then Envy's in playoffs for sure. Yeah. No one from the bottom 4 can match them anymore. But regardless, it's still Envy, who are probably a playoff team, or definitely a playoff team based on that match, who are now dropping games against playoff squads. They've got Immortals, they've got Cloud9 next up, in the next week. And
as we've said so many times, yeah, their ending of the schedule is definitely rough. But Is that kind of how you want your schedule to end? As long as you know you're getting into playoffs, you're like, all right, let's get some training in on stage, and they go through top opponent after top opponent. Like, these are teams that they're going to be playing in playoffs anyways, so maybe they're at peak form.
I think it is super relevant. And again, they looked competitive. And if they can look competitive against these teams, you can squeak out these wins. You had the clutch plays out of Nisqy in game 2, and Apollo had put out some good damage, and LirA went death. Like, I think overall, Envy had played very well. This looked like one of the better series I saw from them, despite the fact that they lost. And that's good. I want to see that the playoff teams do look sharp. And for a 1v6, as the standings reflect right now, this was a fun series to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
And even beyond like individual performances, because we had good performances from a lot of the players on the team, the decisiveness of a lot of the calls that they went for, right? There were instant answers there. Oh, TSM is on the Dragon, we're doing Baron. Oh, they're instantly pushing this bomb side, and they go and trade turrets. It seems like that has been one of the biggest improvements. Like, they're much quicker than previously.
Yeah, and even little small things like smutting first, that Feast is next one up. Like, they had certainly practiced some of these metrics, and we'll see what Envy can do for us next week. But now for a first-hand account on that series, let's hear from TSM's support and Digon.
Hello, I am joined with Biofrost. And Biofrost, you guys decided to take the scenic route on this one. Talk to me about the series in general.
Well, the series was super long and dragged out, and I think both teams made a lot of mistakes. As for us, our early game wasn't very clean, so because of that, we had to play from behind a lot of the times, but our comps usually had a lot of scaling with them, so we were able to stall the game and be able to win.
So last time we spoke with you was week 2, and during that time you spoke about all the playmaking supports that were available, and that's been the theme of the season. However, in this series specifically, you played a ton of supportive supports. What did you see? What is the power of these supports to you?
I think a lot of people are just trying to figure out the meta because this patch was really big, and we're trying out supportive supports like Karma, like Lulu, and we're just testing to see whether or not they fit with our comps. And yeah, it's just a lot of experimenting right now because, yeah, a lot of people are trying different things, and we just want to be really fast to learn the meta.
So looking to next week, you have P1 and El Clasico with CLG to close out the summer split. That match, always a big match. What gets you the most fire up with your matchup against CLG?
Well, I think the matchup with CLG is just that there's a long history of rivalry with that, and CLG has been looking a lot better with like this split, I believe. And now they have, oh my god, they went through like a roster change in the middle of the season, so I'm not really sure if they're still going to be as good, but they definitely showed up in their match yesterday, so they're definitely still really good. And it's going to be really important for us to get this win because it can mean either first seed or second seed. And yeah, a lot of our future playoffs is on the line next week, so we have to play well.
Well, you played really good in this series as well. Congratulations on your 2-1 win. For more, let's send it on over to Dash and Mark.
Thank you very much, Digon. TSM going to be grateful to have come away with the victory. And then on the side of Envy, man, they're going to be kicking themselves for letting this one slip through their fingers. They had control. They had the tools to come away with the win. TSM finds proper fights, is able to strike back, and ultimately come out with the victory, tying themselves in the standings with Immortals.
Yeah, I was going to say, CLG is probably kicking Envy too right now, because they were like, yeah, we're all going to be tied.
Right, yeah.
Like, oops.
Yeah, TSM was like, I heard they have a storyline where if we lose, we're still tied with CLG going into the final week.
Really hype final week.
Let's ruin that. Okay,
I mean,
thanks a lot, TSM.
For TSM, though, they were really at Envy's mercy at this case, because they gave up a Baron buff, and it was basically completely in Envy's control to win this game. They just lacked the decisiveness or the know-how of how to actually close the game out.
Let's take a look at team comps, because when we get to those Barons that you talked about, we'll have some idea of how these teams could have utilized their compositions in order to close out the game. As I say that, we're welcoming those viewers over from the Dignitas game, who they just won. In the meantime, we're breaking down TSM's victory here over Team Envy, 2-1 fashion. These are the team comps that they did it with. Big thing to note here is we've got a Nami now making her resurgence. And what happened to my Threshes and my Blitzcranks and my Alistairs, man?
They got banned. Two of them got banned. There's plenty of other playmaking supports. If you're not playing Taric at this point, I feel like you might have missed him, because you need to pick him up right now. He's pretty nuts. Rakan, I understand, was in and out of the meta a little bit based off the beginning of the split, but there's so many other things, Brahms and stuff like that, that you can easily pick up. And I don't particularly like seeing the Nami, and I didn't see much out of it this game. I gave it a chance. I was going to say it's one of those champions where it wins laning phase, that's good, and then out of laning phase, it really comes down to how good your bubbles and ults are. And for the most part, this was not one by any Nami play. It was Bjergsen taking over the game.
Yeah, it has the potential to be impactful. It wasn't necessarily so in this game. The other major thing to take note of is that TSM did jump back to the Tristana away from Game 2 where they played the Varus and had some issues with scaling into the late game. Lo and behold, Game 3 goes into the late game, and you've got a slightly better team comp to kind of push through the damage at the end.
I especially like the Jarvan as well, comboing in with that, just having that extra follow-up to be able to go in and really blow people up. The Shen was fine in Game 1, got banned out this time. I like the Jarvan in response.
All right, now let's take a look at a replay. Well, you mentioned TSM was able to stab back into it, 3 for 1 in the mid lane. Baron off the back end.
And up until this point, you know, TSM had been on the back foot. A great play out of Bjergsen finds the first pickoff, and then
You mean Nami doesn't do anything? You see
yeah,
that kill there?
Oh, that was great, James. You're right. This team fights all Nami. No, afterwards, you know, Hauntzer has Svenskeren has a nice cast to separate LirA. They focus him down next. Hauntzer had gone in and set up the next kill onto Seraph. They were doing a really good job picking out their targets and soloing them down while the next CC frontliner is finding the next target for them to go onto.
Now, here's why this is important, right? They pick up the Baron off of this, and we want to contrast this with the Baron that Envy picked up. We're going to pull up here the comparison of the Baron power plays for both of these teams. TSM, 3,000 more gold accrued with the Baron buff than Envy did. Now, remember, they also won the game, basically, off of this Baron buff. Took multiple turrets, multiple inhibitors. Envy wasn't even able to crack the base.
And for Envy as well, when you get a 1,500 gold power play, that's what you get, including the Baron buff.
Right.
So that's basically, they got nothing with it. And if you go back and watch what they did, it was horrendous macro play from them. They have Apollo stay mid for far too long, then he recalls, then he goes top, and stays top the entire time as opposed to grouping up with the team. The Cho'Gath took a little bit to group up as well, as opposed to send the Cho'Gath to whichever lane you want. Group 4, he has teleport the whole time. It was just a complete mismanagement of their waves.
Right, but Mark, I mean, look at this team comp. It's so much better at pushing turrets with Baron. They have a Tristana. They've got threat of engage and even disengage. What, you know, shouldn't it make sense that they came away with more gold?
No, because at the time, 1, Envy had more turrets up available to take, and 2, because you have Taliyah. So if you have that Cho'Gath splitting down on the bot side, they're not going to really go contest him when you're pushing up mid. They're going to group mid and wait for the wave, and then you rotate out and you go down to one of these side lanes and cut them off and move faster around the map using the advantages that the Karma can give you as well with being able to speed everyone up. It was just a complete misplay. I like you playing devil's advocate though.
I got you, buddy. I got you. I set you up all day. Anyway, from TSM, I mean, that's the thing. That's what separates them as a top team from even a middle of the pack team. Remember, Envy is on their way to the playoffs with an Echo Fox loss here at the end of the day, and so boom, they're in. But the thing that they need to figure out, right, is when they do have those advantages, when they do have the Baron against a top-tier team like this, you got to close it out on the first one or make sure that you're picking up enough gold to make it impossible to come back.
And on the flip side, TSM needs to figure out what they're doing in the draft because, I mean, you do not lose a Baron against other top teams like an Immortals, like a CLG, and even like a Dignitas at this point and still win the game.
Right.
They have big problems, especially if you look at their Game 2 draft. Envy have their own problems. They can't quite stack up in the macro play with TSM yet.
Player of the game goes to Bjergsen on this Syndra pick. I mean, again, with all of the bans focused to so many other lanes outside of mid, I feel like people, you know, we're looking at our star mid laners, Jensen and Bjergsen. They get their hands on whatever pick they want, and it's starting to enable them to run wild. 6-0-5 this time around, 92% kill participation.
If you look at mid laners across the league, they're pretty much all picking the same champion for themselves over and over. So you see Corkis for every game for Ryu and Froggen. Yeah, and then you see Cassiopeia every game for Keen. He's getting Syndra. Jensen's getting Ori. Mid laners get whatever they want right now.
Exactly, because yeah, as you mentioned, we've got like 12 support bans and a bunch of top lane bans. Either way, TSM ekes out the win. Now we're going to transition over to the Dignitas win here over Echo Fox. Another 3-game series, pulling champion select up to take a look at how they did it. Priority in this game a little bit different, obviously, than the other series. Blitzcrank pulled in following the loss on Soraka from Adrian. I think that's big because it is a signature pick, the Soraka for Adrian, but we had seen bans on the Blitzcrank against Dignitas in this last week or two, which kind of spoke to there must have been some tremendous success in scrim block.
Yeah, and he was able to get it this time, and he shows why he was getting some bans on it. This play comes off the back of Dignitas getting a little bit too greedy, actually, here, where they try and finish this turret off, don't do it right away, and it's actually going to be Echo Fox who collapse and get a couple kills here. But prior to this play was the one that you were thinking of, where we did see that Adrian was able to set up a big play in the bot lane.
Right, we saw some early action in the bot lane off of the Blitzcrank, but even here, it's like this. What this to me shows is this is the setup for what we're going to see after this, which is that, hey, Echo Fox got another lead. But the reason why Blitzcrank is so much more impactful than a Soraka is that you can end up in a situation like this, and as long as you get one crucial pull at one point in the game, you can completely turn the tide. It's a lot tougher for Soraka to be that impactful.
And this is one of those situations as well where, yeah, you're melting front line to back line. Maokai's obviously not like, oh, I'm so glad I hooked him, but as long as you are not taking a ton of damage in return, you're able to solo out a single member of the enemy front line, you can win that fight as well. Once the Maokai's ult, it's a relatively easy chase down onto Keith, and then they get another one onto Brandini because at no point could Echo Fox group up and fight fully 5v5.
Yeah, that Cassiopeia for Keen pushing out the damage there. We'll get the Baron on the back end of that, and then as you mentioned, Dignitas with the Baron, they know how to close, right? So I would point Team Envy to any of these other squads and say, start paying attention to what they do in that 3.5 minutes that they have a Baron buff and learn how to close out the game, because then they become a scary playoff team themselves.
Right, they had a dragon advantage for them, and they still couldn't do anything with that Baron buff. Here, Dignitas, if there's one thing we've known about them recently, it's that their objective control is so good. Game 1 was basically won completely off moving around the map better. This game was won off some nice vision control, getting some picks eventually, and having a good champion pool overall. I think I know what they want to do. The Soraka was a little bit out there, but, you know, it is Adrian. I'm fine seeing it once. Didn't work out, and they quickly adapted and said, fine, we'll go back to Blitzcrank.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier today, and I'm just going to re-hit it as we award Keen Player of the Game, that perhaps this guy's been a little bit under the radar, a little bit underrated here so far this split, because in this last week or two, he has really shot up in performance and is standing out as a key player for the squad, in my opinion.
We keep saying his champion pool has been shrunk a little bit, but that's true for most mid laners right now. As we were just saying, everyone plays whatever they want, and he wants to play Cassiopeia. He keeps getting the Cassiopeia, and they're able to consistently win with it. And it's such a great champion for him just because he is always a good late game team fighter. His problem is that sometimes he feeds a little bit in lane, but it hasn't happened in forever.
Right.
He keeps putting out these monster performances on the late game carries, and even though, you know, Someday and Altec and Adrian are the ones stealing a lot of the spotlight narratively, he in-game has been a huge crutch for them.
2-1 for Dignitas. They continue their climb up the standings. Now, as we close out Week 8, let's go ahead and take a look at how the Player of the Game standings shake out before we enter the final week of the regular season. Solo laners came out big for their teams this week as Jensen, Pobelter, and Brandini each nabbed 3 Player of the Games, while Piglet and Omar God each picked up their first honor of the split. Now, if we turn to our split-wide leaderboards, it's still a close race. Bjergsen currently has 10 POGs, with that one added to the tally. Pobelter tied with Someday at 8, and LirA and Darshan at 7. I mean, you only have so many games to get back up there and tie Bjergsen. I mean, we had that conversation about MVPs at the very beginning of the day, and we're like, well, Bjergsen's the quintessential best player, and then, of course, he's the guy with the most player of the games. I was really hoping that near the end of the split, we'd have someone making a case that the player of games against him.
I still like the fact, though, that every team in the top 5 is basically represented there. I think C9 was the only one that we didn't see, which is pretty funny overall, just like how even this split has been.
And what's also crazy is for how much we talk about C9 living and dying by Jensen, Jensen is not on that top 5 list. So somehow, right, we have this idea that they're only successful if Jensen's really going off, but that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case because there's more of an even distribution of player of the games on Cloud9.
Well, I think sometimes it's like who stepped up alongside Jensen. So I know today Contracts picked one up for getting him going on the LeBlanc, and then you see the 10 kill, 15 overall kills in the assist game, and you're like, oh my God, that's nuts. But sometimes it is the team that kind of gets him rolling. We talk about how resource heavy he is. So statistically, of course, he's going to put up good numbers, but it's sometimes off the back of his teammates' play.
He's got a couple more matches. Maybe he can go crazy. That's the POGs. Let's pull up the standings themselves to see where the teams are positioned coming into Week 9. In first place, we have a tie between Immortals and TSM, while CLG are left behind in third with their loss today. Cloud9 and Team Dignitas remain tied at fourth, and despite their loss today, Envy have secured their spot in the postseason, giving us our 6 teams heading into the playoffs. That only leaves seeding to be decided for our top teams, which puts a lot of weight on the matches on Friday. First up, Immortals try to secure themselves a playoff bye when they face Team Envy, and then Counterlogic Gaming looks for revenge, versus Team Dignitas later in the day. I mean, this is a big thing, right? First of all 4 of those are playoff teams, so we're just getting a good first look. But again, Immortals in control of their own destiny. If they are able to take down Team Envy, they lock in a bye.
I think that's the really important thing here is just how big Friday is in terms of seeding. And then, like you said, being able to see who's going to match up well. And I'm especially curious about CLG versus Dig. just because...
That's a scary match for CLG.
Right, that's the one where you're saying, okay, well, CLG still has a chance to fight for that first round bye, but you have to get through Dignitas, who is no joke right now.
Well, now I think you need to be concerned that, again, you lose against Dignitas, your next matchup is TSM. It's also not an easy matchup. So if Dignitas goes win-win here, meaning 3 wins in a row, and you go loss, there's actually the potential you get surpassed for the 3rd seed, and you end up in a much tougher matchup moving into the quarterfinals of the playoffs. That's a whole lot of information. Hopefully, we'll just see how it works out next week. Now, hordes of you flooded the Twitter sphere with your LCS big plays, so we decided to pull some before we closed out Week 8, brought to you by Acer. First up, DeWonder Spawns pointed out the incredible restraint showed by Ole in high-pressure scenarios, saying Ole is by far the best support. His patience when in team fights is superb. Let's take a look.
Looking for the big old flank, but something getting in the saves himself from the Costas ulti, using the Tempered Fate, and something gets blown to pieces. Ole,
Smithy,
you are amazing.
And then Someday kind of missed the opportunity there. And that was just so well. Ole's Bard ultimates are disgusting.
Already over the wall to try and save his opponent. Smithy jumps back in and Shrimp flushes out from under Ole, though. Still going down, but a great pull. He's maybe going to save him a little bit longer.
Oh, he doesn't reach him!
Low from the ulti, but that's one caught its flame back into the rest of Dignitas.
And then right there, that polymorph on the top side, Someday couldn't transform, couldn't get his W off in time, couldn't use his ultimate fast enough, and that was Ole making the difference in that fight.
I mean, when we saw the first clip, we were like, I thought it was going to be the Lulu one, and it turns out it concluded both.
It was both.
Yeah, because Ole is just such a monster in the late game and in team fights. Huge playmaker for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. No argument there. Next up, Ryan Payne couldn't ignore how huge the rookie mid laner was for Team Envy in their match versus TSM, saying Nisqy was insane in that final fight. Positioning and the flash to dodge Bjerg damage was so good. One more time.
We gotta wait for Biork in barrage the second time around as Apollo can go right back in and he finds the kill. Nisqy's dominating. A slow on the back line. He wants Bjergsen. Nisqy gets it. That was huge out of him, and now that's one of the carries gone. Double force drop, but he could be stunned up. The chase is in for Nisqy. A triple kill out of the Lucian in the mid lane. They're gonna go for number 4, a quadra kill for Nisqy. And it's only Biofrost left alive. It's going to be Envy pulling off the victory. Nisqy with 4. Are you kidding me with that flash forward over Bjergsen's W to get the kill?
Safe to say Kobe was impressed as well.
Yeah, you could hear the voice cracks coming in. God, Nisqy is really good. The whole team of Envy is so good. I just wish they were that little bit better to really start taking.
Well, right, you talk about underrated players though, and we had pointed to Keen. I do think we got to look at Nisqy on Envy. He's also kind of flown under the radar, and maybe that's because it's a team that's always been able to build early leads, and so we've seen these things that we want to point to and say they're a good team. But he as an individual, in comparison to Pyrion, he's really starting to broaden that champion pool, right? And he's starting to give the team maybe a few more options, and I love his aggressive play as one of the younger members in the league.
Definitely something to keep your eye on, just how well he matches up for some of those veterans. I think he has a lot of room to grow into that kind of carry potential because he's matched up well versus Bjergsen and Jensen so far in the second half of the split.
All right, well, there you have it. Finally, Combat Jennings called out the carry performances from Cloud9 mid laner as Body by Jensen is in full effect. Let's take a look.
I feel a little bit bad for FlyQuest as, I mean, they're diving almost the inhibitor turret.
Oh my god, goodbye elimination. He's ripping through the back of this team fight. Balls goes down on the other side, but he does take down Sneaky with the ult turtle. Able to take down in back where Jensen gets that counter kill. Heal already committed. Good buster shot there, but Smoothie might still be able to weave a hook through. Minion's gonna block that off though. Flash in from Jensen, just gonna let the ulti go. Goodbye. Jensen is gonna stall back out from under the knockup by Jarvan, and Lemon still the constant threat. Oh my gosh, Karma, I'm so sorry.
I mean, the problem is that Jensen gets so fed on these champions that his plays start to look less impressive because of how easy it is to kill people.
It's like, oh yeah, you're 13 kill LeBlanc, really nice QR combo. I can't believe you got a kill.
Great Flash R Syndra, you know, like what the heck? But again, credit to him because he builds CS advantages in every single game. Contracts and Smoothie put great focus into the mid lane to help get him rolling, and then he does execute on it. And there's nothing more you can ask for out of a mid laner.
I mean, when you're playing at the highest level, if you're able to make it look that easy, that should say something about how good you are.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Week 8. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. Stick around after the show for NALCS Tonight, where myself, Kobe, and Xayah look back on the week. Otherwise, we'll see you next week for more North American LCS. Good night.
Players are in position for the first match of the day as Phoenix 1 takes on Echo Fox. Beautiful hook onto Frog, and the curtain call opens up. Mike Young's into the back line, and 3 are down.
I got it. Front to back, guys. Front to back. I'm on Jet. Yes. I'm on Thresh. Yeah. Rek'Sai. Yep. Camille, you're fine. Gas.
Phoenix 1 trying to make their stand, but instead they're going to be losing their support. Into the back line goes Brandini. Arrow going to be cut to pieces.
Lolo a little late. He's going to try and answer Donox. I think he's going to get eaten. Flat forward. Beast is coming. They're splitting with the kill.
Leave them their KDAs. Just leave them their KDAs.
The front line is there. Look at the burst damage.
Oh, that combo.
Huge. Megadar and a Hauntzer. A double kill already. The third coming through.
You can go Elise. Go. I have ulti that. Go. I'm in Cho'Gath. Cho. I found Cho.
Oh, alley-oop to take down the enemy team. LirA and Seraph both out of the picture. Hakuho dies as the third man on Envy to drop. Make it 4. Only Nisqy remaining, and he's not going to be there for long.
You know, I've gotten like 20 quadra kills. Oh, 20. Let me see. 2.
One too many zeros.
I've got so many quadra kills. You're trolling. I got quadras for days.
Yes, King. Yes, Trevor. Slay.
Yes.
2-member knock up. That's going to be right on a golden glue. He goes down.
I've stunned. Kalista. You can banner. Push it. Just go banner after.
They're going to get stunned. This is bad for IMC. Who's going to get it?
Back Adrian. Big 3-man knock up on the other side. Kane takes down Olay. They just don't care. They're going to take the kill. There's a triple kill for Kane. Dignitas. Topple Immortals. 2, 3. Oh no, Turtle. Not like this. Impact. Actually, it's Jensen going to TP in for yet another kill. Just going to collect, again, some more freebies. Goodbye.
One here. Nice. I should have done. No scare.
Brandini doing as much as he can to extend the time of this fight, but eventually goes down. A triple kill coming in for Keen.
I'm ulting him as well. I got the.
Double force drop, and he could be stunned at the chase in for Nisqy. A triple kill out of the Lucian in the mid lane. They're going to go for number 4, a quadra kill for Nisqy. Oh, the flash ult, they're going to go for the kill. They don't quite get him. Yes, they do. Biofrost knocks the kill down at the very end of it all.
CLG health bars are quickly disappearing. Arrow still jumping back and forth. The lock of the Iron Solarius pop. The double kill for the AD carry. From the ashes rise the Phoenix.